I believe we have another member joining us from the floor.
We do. Congresswoman-elect Victoria Spartz of Indiana is with us. Congresswoman-elect, thanks for joining us. You had been voting present for the last number of rounds. You changed that vote to Andy McCarthy. What prompted you? You had said that you weren't going to engage with this nonsense that was happening on the floor of voting and voting and voting and not getting to a conclusion. What caused you to change your mind from voting present back to voting for McCarthy?
Well, I believe, working in a tight majority in governing will be important for us to be at the table and have conversations. So I was very happy to see that both sides, in a good faith, were going to go back to the table. Don't look at grievances and figure out a path forward. There were some legitimate concerns that needed to be addressed. And we need to make sure that we can deliver what we promised to the American people. So I'm happy to see that positive change of tone and having a conversation. We're not there yet, but it was very good change of tone. And that will make our conference much stronger. And it will make us as a Republicans much stronger to be able to reconcile differences now so we can govern as a unit. So I was happy to see that. We have some work to do, but we made a lot of positive change, and I was glad to see that happening.
Congresswoman-elect, do you know what brought around your other colleagues specifically?
Well, I think, there were some changes in the rules that, were done by Speaker Pelosi that existed for over 100 years. And we are not dictatorship. We are freedom, loving people, independent people, and we are not going to have queens and kings. And Speaker Pelosi wanted to be a queen. Republicans are not going to be suppressed. We need to make sure that the institution is reformed and we bring more democratic mechanism. I think Democrats should like that too. And we shouldn't be afraid to have actually everyone expressing a voice because we represent the same amount of people. It is very important. Our institution has very low approval rating for a reason because we're not delivering and bickering and playing politics and show and not giving people a voice. I think that it was very good and positive change. We also have a processes where we actually have uncontrolled spending, and this is the most important function this institution needs to do. And we need to make sure that we as an institution have an ability to have rules that allow us to be able to stop some crazy things that could happen. And it's been happening, and a lot of people were not able to do it. Even Kevin McCarthy, when he was in the minority, he was not able to stop some members to collaborating with the other side and pass some terrible legislation. So I think that is a very positive move, and I think these principled people stood the ground, but were willing to work and compromise. And I think for the good of the country, we are willing to have a speaker, but we need to reconcile some differences, and it's okay. Yeah. It's very productive.
Congresswoman-elect, no matter how you cut it, McCarthy still needs 3 more votes if he hopes to become Speaker. If Ken Buck comes back, he's going to need 4 more votes, but Buck's a McCarthy vote, so he really needs 3 more. He either gets it because some of the ones who voted for other candidates flip, or maybe more Democrats like Trone don't vote, he could get to the magic number. But how do you get those 3 votes? A very knowledgeable Republican strategist tells me that he believes that McCarthy will work on people like Andy Harris, Andy Biggs, and Eli Crane to try to woo them over. How does he get the 3 votes outstanding between now and, gosh knows, whenever the ultimate vote is taken?
I think the only way how any leader should do, meet with people one-on-one and talk with them, discuss concern, and figure out how he can get them on board. Because that's not the first and not the last time he'll have to do it. And if he wants to lead the conferences, he needs to figure out how to do it. And I think there is a lot of support. There are a lot of good people there. And I think he needs to work personally with them and figure out how to get the board. Because they're good people. We have a lot of good people. And they want to make sure that we do good for our country. But we need to address concerns. And I think he'll be working on that. We made progress. And I think we can get it done. And I can tell you, we will have a Republican speaker. Sometimes we have to go through some pains, but pains makes it only tough and stronger. So it's actually good for us. And it's good for people to get together and actually listen to each other. We haven't even talked to each other. We've never been in the chamber together. And for the American people to learn processes. It's like a good civics lesson too, so it's good.
Congresswoman, we'll let you go. Do you know if this is going to roll into a 13th vote? Is that happening shortly? Have you been told anything?
Well, we'll see where it is going. I think, we'll discuss, and it depends what both sides to do. I think there is more time needs to happen, and how people want to handle it, we'll decide. So thank you.
We appreciate you joining us.
Victoria Spartz, good to be with you. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.